Hey guys, if you can spare a few seconds, I just want to give a quick thank you to our lovely patrons before we get into today's episode. If you're a consistent listener of the Karstcast Moviecast, that's great. Thank you so much for listening. And if you're looking for a great way to support us, the best way to do so is by going to patreon.com/Karstcast, where you can get exclusive access to bonus episodes, Q&As, shoutouts at the end of every episode, and hey, so much more, like Zoom Hangouts and maybe some new stuff. We're testing out some new ideas. But anyways, we would really appreciate it if you are looking for a way to support us and also make the podcast just that much better. Go to patreon.com/Karstcast and enjoy the episode.
Karstcast. My name is Jeff. I watch movies sometimes.
And I'm Karsten. I also watch movies sometimes. You're listening to the Karstcast Moviecast.
Hello, welcome to the 77th episode of the Karstcast Moviecast. Hey Jeff, what color does blue litmus paper change to in acid?
What? I didn't even understand what this is asking.
So what color does blue litmus paper, a type of paper, what color does it change to when placed in acid?
Just because acid makes me feel like green. Is what I'm just based off that. I'm gonna guess that's incorrect.
Yeah, no, it is. That is incorrect answer. It is red.
Okay, I almost said red only because I thought that would be kind of funny if it was like blood.
Yeah, which it is apparently. Well, it's not actual blood. It's just red. Like the color changes.
Yeah.
No,
the color blue turns into blood.
Blood. You would never.
That's where the blood
it.
banks get all their blood. It's actually paper.
Yeah. I want to bring this up. We'll make it real quick.
Yeah.
But I put in my laundry. This is just a quick tip from the Karstcast crew. This is a stupid tip. I put in my laundry right before recording this podcast so that I didn't have to set a timer because this podcast lasts an hour and it takes an hour for the dryer to do its thing. So, pro tip is start an hour-long podcast to avoid timers.
Okay, so the only thing I'll say about that is that our length of our podcast varies wildly. This is not like a dead set. So occasionally you might get, especially when we have guest episodes, you might get done with it a little too early. Okay, there's like a strobing effect behind you in the video, and it makes it look like you're in front of a green screen pretending to be in your room.
I see the strobe too.
Okay, now it's gone on my screen.
Is it? Because as soon as I looked, it went away. Is this like a ghost? Is this like one of those horror movies? Because it stopped as soon as I looked over.
Yeah, that was weird. Anyways, we'll move on.
Anyways, you shaved your mustache.
I did. I also am now back in Florida.
You did, yeah. That's the bigger news, probably.
Right when I got back, because I'm not allowed to go in the other parts of my parents' house. Just because I was exposed to various people like you. I was in Chicago.
Yeah.
So I'm quarantining for 2 weeks in this part of the house.
Wow. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wait.
But they did not give me enough clothes yet. They just are like, here's 2 days of clothes. So that's why, and that really, I'm just saying that's why I'm wearing a shirt that's the exact color of the Karstcast hat.
Oh yeah.
It's just kind of a weird look that I wouldn't normally go for, but I had no option. This was the only shirt I have that was clean.
Thanks for letting the crowd know, because we
we're
all
weird
thinking it.
Look, like, why is someone wearing just all this weird light blue color?
Yeah. Well, I'm finally wearing my own Karstcast hat. For anyone, there's there it is.
Yeah.
Up close and personal.
It's weird seeing someone else wear that hat since I've been the only person for 6 months to have one of these hats.
I know. Well, I decided because I had a different hat on right before we recorded this, and I was like, oh, I can be in on the fun now. So now it looks like this is like our uniform for work.
And no, that actually does, like, before when it was just me, it felt kind of like chill, and now it feels like we're forced to wear this hat.
Yeah. Well, at least it looks good. It does look really nice.
It does. The embroidery is pretty good.
Yeah. If it makes you feel good, Jaxie has also been wearing hers all week. So
nice.
yeah,
there we go. People are
we're all loving
the
the hats. Yeah,
which will be for sale very soon.
Very soon. We're
Shortly.
setting it all up. But yeah, can we get a beverage check? Because I think I saw a cool can on your side.
Yeah.
Of
So
things.
I actually am surrounded by 3 different beverages right now.
All right, let's hear it.
So first, I have
Gatorade.
Yeah. Second, and these are all open.
Uh huh.
I have Mountain Dew.
Oh my god.
And then third, I have a seasonal La Colombe draft latte in a can, pumpkin spice.
No water. No water in sight.
Well, I mean, to be fair,
I mean,
there's a lot of water in that
is,
Gatorade, yeah. It's
Yeah.
just like water and some sugar.
The pumpkin spice sounds really nice. That actually looks like a pretty cool drink.
It's not bad.
Seems like a lot of flavors, but what's your favorite type of Gatorade? Because fruit punch is up there for me. That's a high
so
tier.
fruit punch, I think, is the best Gatorade flavor. Now, the best Powerade flavor is the light blue.
Yep, that's the right answer.
And that's the best sports drink flavor, full stop.
Yeah, I can get down with that. Yep. I always remember the Powerade because there was this really small golf course near my house when I was little where I'd go to golf with my dad a lot. And they had one vending machine halfway through the course. And it was only 9 holes, but when I was little, it was a lot for me. And I would just always get the blue Powerade, and it'd fuel me up like Popeye's spinach, and I'd power through the last 3 holes. And
so I do have a similar story, is that I used to take tennis lessons from a woman named Cricket when I was like 6 years old. And like at our halfway or so break of the lesson, there was a vending machine that dispensed the light blue Powerade.
oh my god. So wow. So we just grew up on the same medicine. Like that. The sentence I took tennis lessons from a woman named Cricket is like
Yeah, I haven't thought
it's
about
like some
cricket in a
folk
long time.
title. Yeah.
That's a true story.
Wow. That's really funny. I didn't even know you could name people Cricket. I know like
I mean, they might have named themselves Cricket. I don't know.
yeah, that could be their own thing. Yeah.
It's kind of a cool name, though.
I do like the name Cricket now that I think about it, especially as like a tennis coach, instructor,
Yeah.
whatever.
And honestly, I played tennis like a cricket.
Play tennis,
Just
like a
hopping around.
Cricket, yeah. You and the bugs, man. Praying mantises, and I introduced. I was playing. So I have your song "I'm Just a Mantis" on my summer playlist because I just threw it on there for fun. And I was playing games with our friend John yesterday. I was just like in my room and I had the Spotify up, and your song came on shuffle, and he was like, "Is that Jeff?" I was like, "Yeah." It's a good little moment right there.
Which
spreading the mantis.
I think I'm getting fairly close to being able to cash out on the earnings of that song.
Yeah,
I'm almost at that €10 threshold.
Yeah, it looked like it had like 5,600 plays when I checked. So
that's respectable.
Doing pretty well, yeah.
Now let's be fair. About 4,500 of those plays were one person.
One person, yeah. And I've definitely
wasn't
listened to
me.
it. Yeah, it wasn't Jeff. That'd be sad. But yeah, so how was the drive back, by the way? You had the...
Yeah, I mean, so my car was full of stuff. I have to go back one final time to get like the last few things. But yeah, it was a nice... I was in the car for like 24 hours straight.
Wow, that's... So you did it all in one...
I slept a couple... Well, yeah, I slept like twice for like a couple hours at like gas stations.
Man, I just can't imagine.
It's not fun. I don't know why I do it. Okay, here's why I do it. And there is an actual reason. And it, like, I would stop at a hotel, but I'm really dumb and end up leaving too late to the point where when I would stop at the hotel, it's not far enough. I haven't driven far enough yet.
Oh yeah,
because
that
once
makes
you get past like 2 a.m., it's pointless to go to a hotel because you have to like check out usually at like
a few
10.
hours. Yeah.
So by the time you'd sleep, you'd get like 6 hours of sleep tops. And like, yeah, that's better than nothing, but it doesn't feel like I'm getting what I paid for.
Yeah. So I get your logic.
So I need to
now.
leave. Yeah, so I need to leave earlier because what happened was it was so hard to pack all that stuff because I was packing up an entire apartment that I didn't end up leaving till like just after 4. So at that point, if I stopped at a hotel, at like 1 or 2 a.m., which would have been around halfway. It's like,
yeah,
I don't really, the thought of spending 6 hours in a hotel room and having to pay like $50 or $60 just didn't seem
No, that makes sense.
worth it.
See, at first I was like, oh, this is very smart of Jeff to go about it that way. But at the same time, you could just leave earlier.
No, yeah, no, it's not smart at all. It's stupid. It's entirely a problem that I've created.
Yeah.
No, I'm not trying to make myself sound smart. I'm just saying that's the reasoning.
That's the, yeah.
It's very,
I understood
it's
now.
a completely self-inflicted problem.
Yeah. Well, you learn from your mistakes, right? Well, apparently not, because you've done it a few different times.
I've done it 3 times in a row.
I will actually be doing a road trip tomorrow. Well, let's see if this qualifies.
Yeah.
So I'm going from Chicago to northern Minnesota.
Mm-hmm. So what is that, like 8 hours?
8 hours, yep. I think that qualifies.
I think 8 hours is where I would say that's like at least on the borderline to where that counts.
Yeah, because that's an 8 hour. That's a day. You know.
Yeah, that's long enough to where you actually would be uncomfortable if you didn't stop and get food.
Yeah, which we are gonna do.
Yeah, so I think that counts.
We're going all the way. I am going like through the entire state of Wisconsin, vertically. So that's.
Well, technically, if you did that, you'd be in Canada.
Yeah, but we're cutting through Duluth.
And then we're going to drive directly on the border of Canada and the United States into Wisconsin, or through Wisconsin into Minnesota. Perfect.
Yep. I'm going to go to TIFF even if they didn't give me the press pass, is what that trip is going to be.
Yeah, you're just going to drive along the border until you see them not looking, and then you turn
dash
right
in there just to watch a movie and catch the virus.
Yeah, it was pretty sad that we didn't get TIFF.
We both applied. Did you get the email?
I did get the email. I got it a minute after you told me you got yours, and I said I didn't get mine yet, and I got it like a minute later, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm not gonna update you that I got it a minute later.
Well, what happened was I texted you. I was like, I didn't get it, and you were like, I didn't get it. I didn't get the email yet. And I was like, oh. But then I went on Twitter, and it's like everyone was posting about it at the same time, like so many critics. Mm-hmm. So I was like, oh, I guess.
Did Jeff get it?
Yeah, I was like, everyone has gotten the email. Did Jeff get approved?
It's because I lied and said that we had 2 million listeners.
Oh, man. Damn. I do want to wait. Did we address what you put down for? We're not going to address this in the middle of the podcast, but I forget if I asked you what you put down for our monthly listener base.
I asked you, and then
you asked me. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I forget if we exaggerated it a bit or no.
Only like we exaggerated in a reasonable amount. I think we just put the upper limit of what we had the previous month.
Right.
Like we just put the episode that had the most.
Mm-hmm. So pro
it's
tip
not
for
really
anyone,
exaggerated. Yeah, it's not.
No.
Really exaggerated.
Yeah, just stretch it a little.
It's not.
You know, more.
It's not outright lying.
No, not at all. Because we do have episodes with tons of listens.
I mean, generally it's episodes where I talk less.
Well, no, that's not what we're gonna say.
No, it's because we have guests.
We have guests.
That's been in a causation argument there. It's not because I talk less.
Yeah. But it just so happens to be. Anyways, I think that's enough. I had one more point, but I guess we'll get in. You know, I'll ask the point anyways.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've noticed, but it is like noticeably September right now. Like the weather shifted so fast. Well, I don't know about in Florida.
I was about to say,
but
not here, buddy.
Not there. No, I think it shifted either right before or right after we did the park episode, and now it starts to feel like fall.
The final 2 days I was in Chicago, it was like 78.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But in where I am in Florida, it is 90 degrees Fahrenheit and will be at least 87 every day for the next week and a half.
That's, oh my God.
So no, it does not feel like September.
Definitely not September over there. What is your favorite season is my last question of this intro.
It depends where I am. In Florida, like late winter, early spring.
Okay.
So like in March, the weather's really nice in Florida.
Interesting. That's like the opposite of everywhere else, I would feel like. Because late March usually is
because Florida's just so hot.
Yeah. Because here it's like slush everywhere in March.
Yeah, no,
and everything looks
doesn't...
brown and gross and
Yeah. Winter and spring in Florida are really nice. Summer is just incredibly hot, and then it's really like muggy in the fall.
Interesting.
Like when I was unpacking my car in the afternoon, I got I did it for like 45 minutes, and I got like 10 mosquito bites.
Oh God, mosquitoes! That's miserable.
Yeah,
Florida just seems like the worst place to be for.
It's not it's pretty and like there's beaches and stuff, but it's not fit for human habitation in the way that we live now. I don't think.
Okay.
It's a lot of bugs.
Yeah, a lot of bugs and gators.
The gators are actually pretty chill, to be fair.
Yeah.
it's crocodiles you look out for.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Australian listeners will know.
Truest shit they've ever heard.
Alligators they just chill. They
just
whatever.
chill, yeah. All right. Because crocodiles are the fast ones, right?
I think alligators are fast as
Pretty
well, but
fast,
they don't really
okay.
attack people.
Yeah, because that's the
crocodiles are the aggressive ones.
Ah, gotcha.
They're like the hippos of reptiles.
Okay, yeah.
No one's ever said that.
No,
I just made that up.
I was gonna say
it's the new. Everyone's saying it. The crocodiles, the hippos of reptiles.
Yeah. Also, hippos are very dangerous. From what I mean, they could.
Yeah, hippos are. That's why I said they're the hippos.
Oh, I got it mixed up. I
was saying crocodiles are the dangerous ones.
Yeah.
No, we talked about this yesterday. But tomorrow's yesterday, and today is tomorrow.
Okay.
Every 20 episodes, you have to just call back our yesterday joke.
It's the only way we'll remember that movie.
Unless we watch it tomorrow, which in 2 days will be.
2 days will be. Yeah. Well, yeah. No, that'll be today. In 2 days. No, you're right. Tomorrow. In 2 days, that'll be today.
Exactly.
Cool. Well, today we're talking about Moneyball. Great segue. This is a 2011 film directed by Bennett Miller. And the synopsis reads, Billy Beane, played by Brad Pitt, general manager of the Oakland A's, one day has an epiphany. Baseball's conventional wisdom is all wrong. Faced with a tight budget, Beane must reinvent his team by outsmarting the richer ball clubs. Joining forces with Ivy League graduate Peter Brand, played by Jonah Hill, Beane prepares to challenge old-school traditions. He recruits bargain bin players whom the scouts have labeled as flawed, but have game-winning potential. It is based on the book by Michael Lewis.
Yeah, and Billy Beane is a hilarious name.
Such a good name. I didn't realize how funny it was until I read it out loud.
Yeah, and it sounds so fake, but it's not. He's a real person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is a real guy, which I think adds so much to it. I was like, it doesn't seem like if this were to happen in real life before the movie came out, you wouldn't think, oh, they should make a movie out of this. But now that they did, I think there's a lot here. I don't know what that point was. See, in my mind, I was like, this is an amazing point.
Did I kind of think I know what you were saying. You were
like,
saying
it's an odd
before
movie.
They made the film. Yeah, that you wouldn't pitch this movie to someone, and someone would be like, yeah, for sure, make that as a movie.
Right.
And I think we can just start talking about spoilers. It's an old film, and it literally is something that happened in real life. So it's a factual thing. But the fact that the ending of the film, they just like lose in the playoffs immediately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then like someone's like, yeah, so like what's the big like climax? They win the World Series. Like, no, they lose immediately. They just get demolished in the playoffs.
They get tanked. Yeah. Which is it's kind of funny. Not in the movie, but like
I just love in the movie though, they are like, like this like huge like pump up like really dramatic lighting, which the lighting in this film for the baseball sequences is hilarious. It's so like contrasty and not at all good for like seeing the ball, which in real life is not how the lighting is in baseball, because the players want to be able to see. Mm-hmm. You don't have like the light on one half of the face and there's just nothing here. It's like, where's the light on that side?
That happened like so many different times in this movie. I'm so glad you brought that up, because there was the scene where they're in the locker room getting interviewed, And the interview, like, from the camera, there's no light on the subject. It's just, like, most of their face is dark. I'm like, just at least put
in sports
something
interviews,
there.
they have those, like, block LEDs that they just,
it's like
stick.
giant. Yeah,
and this would have been set in 2001, so they weren't LEDs, but they still were, like, on-camera, like, lights that were just, like...
Yeah.
But anyways, getting back to the ending playoff sequence, the guy hits, like, a hard hit up in the air, and for, like, 1 second, you're like, oh, it's about to be a home run. But since in real life they lost immediately, they had to give you, like, one moment where you weren't sure what's going to happen, and it's just, like, a pop fly, and the guy catches it.
Yeah.
Damn.
No. We watched this. You were the one that pitched this movie.
Pitched it because the baseball.
God damn it, dude! I need to set up the soundboard. I almost set it up today. I'll put that in post. I won't. But anyways, you pitched this. I want to know why, and also you did say you wanted to hold back on the baseball talk, but I want to hear about it because having seen the movie, I will say, like, I announced this movie on our Twitter, and then my friend from high school was like, you got to get me on the Moneyball episode, and we obviously didn't get it. But because one of his points was that the baseball in this movie was a little funky, and I want to know if that's what you were gonna say.
The baseball is a bit funky, but this movie isn't. I think a very, this movie's not about the baseball on the field. It's
true. What?
Yeah, I lost you for a second. Sorry,
you did? Oh, okay. I was like, what? I was like, do you really disagree about the baseball thing? No, I agree. It's not about the baseball. But what were you saying?
I mean, the baseball sequences were clearly actors trying to play baseball. Like their swing mechanics were pretty bad. Mm-hmm. But that's not what it's about, right? This wasn't Angels in the Outfield.
Yeah. Other classic baseball.
Yeah, it's about the backroom stuff and Billy Beane's journey. I mean, it's interesting how in a movie about, analytics and sabermetrics, which is like one of the terms people use to talk about these advanced statistics. They still made this film very human in that one of the obstacles Billy Beane has to overcome is still finding the right balance between the human side of the game and using this new analytical tools.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah, it's hard. I think I just need like you to point me in a direction you want me to just like run with, and then I can get into some like advanced stuff if you want.
No, well, I was just curious because I'm like pretty unfamiliar with baseball because my friend pointed that out, and I was like, I didn't think the only thing that looked funky was that one guy's throw, which
Chad Bradford, who played for the Tampa Bay Rays, which were pretty much the successor to Billy Beane's style of baseball, where they became the new analytical team after Billy Beane because they were an equally low budget team.
Okay.
And baseball is it's the one sport where it's much easier to quantify in numbers what is happening because it's a series of one-on-one like miniature games inside the game, right? Where there's much less variable. So in hockey or basketball, there's so many moving parts where you can't easily quantify what is happening with numbers. And now in the last 10 years, pretty much every sport has gotten much better at this, which is why in basketball, the value of the three-pointer is something that has been like enhanced by all of like the new metrics that people have had, and that's why a lot of teams now just shoot tons of three-pointers, because if you're shooting three-pointers as a team at like 35% or something, it's more valuable than shooting two-pointers ever, and you just have teams breaking records every year for shooting the most three-pointers. But baseball was the first sport that really started, and this movie is about the beginning of using these advanced metrics in a sport. In baseball, this was 2001, so this was before you had computers in the way we have them now, where you could track all of these things without someone manually having to like enter information.
I was thinking that like now it must be like way like this must be. I was gonna ask you. You probably know more about baseball than I do. I
hope so.
Because like did this they only touched on it a little bit with like what happened with the Red Sox at the very end. But is this like fully the norm now?
Yeah,
like,
this is completely like what now it's evolving to where, because every team has all these metrics, it's all these teams on the like cutting edge trying to find new undervalued metrics.
Yeah.
So the Tampa Bay Rays, for instance, were the first team to use like heavily this thing called the shift, where generally if you had a power hitter, a lot of times you'd have these hitters who would only be able to hit the ball to like one side of the field, just the way they swung.
Yeah.
And using data showing that like a guy will always hit the ball to a certain side of the field, you just stack more defensive players on that side of the field. And the Rays started doing that to like the extreme. Normally it would be like one or two guys on like the whole team you would do that for, and they started doing that for like a third of all at bats.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and then that started working. So then a bunch of teams started doing it.
Do you think that makes for like more interesting baseball to watch, in your opinion, or do you would you rather have the traditional way?
I think baseball is boring as shit. I think that the mental aspect of thinking about baseball is more interesting than the actual sport of baseball. I think the baseball playoffs are interesting but the season's not this year because of COVID, but there are 162 games in the regular season just to get to the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's absurd.
Yeah.
When you're talking about a team winning the World Series, they've played like 180 games.
There's like
that's
an
like
excessive
one game every other
amount.
day.
Yeah. It's a fucked up sport because like because also I feel like more than other sports, I feel like taking a loss in baseball is like hits harder for some reason. Like it's an emotional thing. But maybe I'm wrong in that way.
So, like, explain that.
Well, I don't know. Just the way the game is worked out. Like you said, it's like kind of like strategic, and also a lot of decisions are based on like things that are sort of in your control some of the time. Whereas like football or soccer or hockey, it's like you said, there's like so much happening on the field. There are so many ways like you can't expect anything. Whereas baseball, like you said, a bunch of miniature games within a game, it feels more in your control. I don't know. And also because I think there's like more distinguished roles within baseball, like you get a better sense of like like you can like pinpoint like specific people better than you can. I don't watch a lot of sports, so maybe I'm wrong here. But from what I know, like the Cubs winning the World Series, it was like a fucking riot in like that doesn't happen in like other sports, I feel like.
Yeah, the Cubs were an interesting case because they just hadn't won the World Series in over 100 years.
Yeah.
But the thing, and what actually this film is like at the end is referencing, is the fact that baseball is a numbers game, and because of a sample size, sample size affects a lot of things. So over the course of a 162 game season, that's a big enough sample size where valuing, this guy being 10% better at getting on base than a different guy, that's where the over the course of 162 games, that shows itself to be true generally.
Yeah.
But in any given one or, two games, it's completely random because a guy batting 300 versus a guy batting 320, you can't know who's going to do better over 7 games.
Yeah.
And that's why at the end they're talking about, one of the things they were talking about in that Minnesota Twins playoff series was the fact that like he built this team and you just using numbers and not the eye test, and over a short series of games, it should just be the better players will win, even though that's complete nonsense because, theoretically, if a guy's, a team performs 10% better than another team, they still should have a 10% better chance of winning in one game. It's just that a team with 40% chance of winning based on numbers is still going to win 40% of the time.
Yeah.
So that's still almost 50-50, really.
Right.
It's just, I don't know. I could talk about this for an excessively long time.
I was going to say, yeah, because we haven't even really touched on the movie itself.
I know. This is just about the underlying, like the underlying context in real life for the movie and what's happened since.
That's the thing, though. I like this movie a lot, I think.
Yeah, no, it's a good movie.
Because before having seen it, this conversation, which is why I'm so sorry to anyone who hasn't seen the movie who's listening to this podcast, this conversation would just not interest me at all. I'd be like, who gives a shit? Like, I didn't even know that this was a new form of baseball I thought baseball has just been the same all the time. So that's just what I like about this. And something I really like about Aaron Sorkin, who did the screenplay. And this has happened with, like, so many films he's written, like The Social Network and Steve Jobs most recently. It's like he can make something that you do not give some really boring subject on the outside, like, so dramatized and interesting. And this is a great example of that, because seriously, I don't care about baseball, but I kind of do now. Like, I wish we weren't in a pandemic, because I'd like to watch some baseball in a stadium.
Yeah, it's again, baseball at a stadium is a fun way to spend a day.
Amazing time.
Like, when you're with friends, it wouldn't be fun by yourself. It would just be boring.
No, well, that'd be
you'd just be on your phone the whole time.
Yeah, you're just sitting there.
Yeah.
No.
But it's too much. I don't. Yeah. It's funny because I'm talking about all these, like, very advanced baseball things, and I'm like, yeah, but I kind of hate baseball.
Well, it's a fun sport to get into in that way. I feel like you said earlier, it's more fun to, I think, talk about, like, the specific stats and, like, how you can turn it into a mathematical thing rather than, like, hockey, where you're just watching a game.
But it's an exciting game, where baseball, the ball's in play for, like, a few minutes a game.
Yeah. But I will say, like, and I know I've said before that hockey games are my favorite games to go to, but baseball games might be, like, just as good. But I've also been, like, I don't know.
The thing, no, I'm not saying I disagree with that, but I think that it's not the same experience. Hockey, you go to the hockey game to watch a hockey game.
Yeah.
Baseball, you go to a baseball game to hang out with people.
Yeah. Baseball
it's
game.
It's just like an enhanced park experience.
Most of the baseball game is, like, gimmicks going on the big screen. Like,
yeah, you got some hot dogs dressed as presidents running around the field.
Yeah, man. I don't know if you've ever. The Twins built this new. I mean, this is really old at this point, but they built this brand new park stadium.
Right, which has some wind issues.
Yeah, that is true. But I've been there a few times. I think my dad got, like, season passes one year, and we went a bunch, and it was, like, the time of my life. I loved going to baseball games. But I've never been to a Cubs game. I really want to go.
I want to as well.
Have you never been to one?
No. I've been to a White Sox game.
Same.
Because it costs like $5.
Yeah, we went for free with DePaul and sat on, like, the shitty benches across the... And it was a great time.
Used to go to a lot of Rays games, where they actually used to be called the Devil Rays. They changed their name in, like, 2008, and then right after that's when I started going to a lot of games.
Yeah.
And that's when they were good. They went to the World Series in 2008. And it was using a lot of the stuff, like, from this film.
That's
where they were doing all these metrics. Where they just had, like, these very good defensive players who, like, could kind of hit, and it was interesting. I don't want to get too much back into the stuff I was just talking about.
No,
but
you're good.
My parents bought season tickets, which that's 81 games a year. They didn't want to go to 81 games a year.
No.
So my brother and I went to, like, 20 games a year, and it was too much.
Damn. Yeah, because that's a little it's not even fun at that point.
Yeah. Yep.
I would be exhausted.
The thing is that I also learned that the Rays have historically, like, the worst attendance because their stadium is stupid. It's this indoor dome, and it's in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
So they only had 400 season ticket holders total. My parents were 0.5% of the entire season ticket base of the Tampa Bay Rays.
That's kind of sad.
Yeah.
Damn. Wow. Interesting.
Yep. But the Rays manager, Joe Madden, who then was the Cubs manager, and he won the World Series.
Wow. Well, good for him.
And then Carlos Pena, who was the first baseman who they traded in this film, was on the Rays for a long time. Chad Bradford was on the Rays, the submarine pitcher.
Yeah. Nice.
Which that's actually a thing now, and that's my prediction of where the game is going is you just find pitchers who have completely opposite attributes. So I think that an underutilized pitching style is the knuckleball, which is just because it's such a weird pitch and it slows everything down. To where this is too much into baseball. Again, no one's gonna care about this. I should stop.
Hey,
it's mainly just tricking batters by when they're going like having consecutive pitchers they see. So from like a guy hits and then the team goes around the order and then the guy hits again. Next time he hits, it's a pitcher who's like the complete opposite of the previous pitcher. So you'd have him face a guy who has like a 100-mile-an-hour fastball, and the next time around the order, he's facing a guy who's like a knuckleballer who throws it like 65 miles an hour, and the ball's just doing this.
Oh, Jesus.
It's just so I think that's because that's
where
like
it's
the
going.
kind of I mean that's just kind of where the game's going, is finding these like small details to gain some kind of advantage.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay, let's talk about the movie again.
Well, so the movie. Something I do like about it is that, yeah, it's not about the game of baseball, and yeah, it's like mostly, and by that I mean it is a game, or it's a movie about like the numbers and everything we talked about already.
Yeah.
But I like how it's also like pretty like universal, how like you can apply the same message to a lot of fields.
Yeah, and they really do a good job at humanizing Billy Beane and making him like a very likable guy because they understand that even though technically this film isn't, it's more about Billy Beane than it is baseball.
Oh, it's all about him. Yeah, this is a biopic.
Even though, yeah, it is a biopic, and but you know, from like just the way people talk about this film, at least from what I've seen, it's very baseball. It's not. It's like not like even the synopsis. It's saying that this film is about like using these new ways of using baseball, but it's more about the guy doing it.
Yeah, totally. The same way, like that's what Aaron Sorkin does. Like that's Social Network was about Mark, and Steve Jobs about Steve.
Yeah.
I just looked up Billy Beane just to see what he looks like, and I have nothing to add to that. He looks like a very normal guy.
I mean, he's not as attractive as
Brad Pitt looked great in this movie.
That's the worst part about Brad Pitt in biopics, is that the actual people he's portraying are never as handsome.
Yeah. But yeah, speaking
like,
of Brad Pitt,
they're like, "Who's gonna play me?" Brad Pitt, and he's like, "Okay, yeah."
He's like, "I can see it a little bit." he's like me. Yeah. But speaking of Brad Pitt, I thought he was so good in this.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I haven't seen he's done like a million movies, so I can't really say I've seen every Brad Pitt movie, but I feel like I always get a little like teased with Brad Pitt in what he does, because it's like we never get to see him just fully like be Brad Pitt for a feature-length film. He's always like a supporting role, or he's always like kind of reserved. In this one, we got a lot of Brad Pitt, and I was never sick of it because he's such a entertaining person to watch on screen. Like he hits a lot of surfaces throughout this movie. There's a lot of banging the hand on the table. I don't know. I thought he was great, and Jonah Hill.
Jonah Hill was great.
And this is just like fun to look back on, because I think this was like such a turning point for Jonah Hill. Like this was his first, not first, I bet, but like the big drama turn for him. So yeah, and he did great.
Yep. Philip Seymour Hoffman. This, first of all, I knew Jonah Hill and I knew Brad Pitt were in this, but I did not know, one, Philip Seymour Hoffman was in this, or that Chris Pratt was in this. Yeah.
And he does like, this is, I think, exactly what Chris Pratt should be playing. Like that's
like
the kind of guy. Yeah. I'm like, that's Chris Pratt.
He's like, yeah, to be honest, my elbow's kind of fucked up.
Yeah. Not Indiana Jones, apparently, which he might do still. That was old news. But yeah, the cast is stacked, and I think everyone does a pretty great job. Yeah, I'll say I think this is my favorite sports movie. If we're counting it as, I don't think it's a biopic more than it is.
It's definitely a sports movie.
Okay,
it's 100% a sports movie, because sports isn't just the sport, obviously.
No, because I think, sports movies, they're also, here's the thing. I thought it was funny. Not funny, but I thought it was like a little unexpected that they just lost the playoffs at the end. But I also like did see that coming to an extent, just knowing how this film was doing what it was doing. And that's why I like it as a sports movie, because it's just different in a lot of ways.
Yeah, you couldn't, with a biopic, you couldn't really just lie and say they won the World Series. People would like Google that and be like, wait a second.
Billy Bean's watching it, he's like, okay, sure, yeah. But yeah, I just really like everything this was doing.
It's a great film.
It really is a great film.
And that's why I haven't watched it in a long time. I think I watched it in theaters and I've never actually watched it again. So that's why I said, let's watch this, because I wanted to anyways.
Yeah, I feel like people have really like forgotten about it. And I think it got glossed over. I told my roommate that I was watching this and he was like, oh, I remember seeing that. It was pretty good. I just thought it was like kind of Oscar baity. And I think people gloss it over as that. I think it is a little Oscar baity, especially it came out in like September of that year.
Is that Warren Beatty's brother?
Oscar Beatty. Oscar Beatty was watching Warren Beatty mess up the name, and he was like, "You're a disgrace to the name." Stupid joke. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's a good movie. It's a little cheesy sometimes, but like it's a sports movie. They have to be kind of cheesy. Like I think the flashbacks of Billy being younger. Well, let me just say those flashbacks. That dude looked just like Brad Pitt. Unless that was Brad Pitt with a lot of like, they just did a lot of work.
I don't think that was Brad Pitt.
No, there was just some shots where it looked just like him with like the face and the.
I don't know. I mean, I thought it was like close enough to be like, yeah, that, you know, it doesn't distract me. I don't know if I thought he looked exactly like Brad Pitt.
Not exactly. Well, because the dinner table stuff, he didn't look like Brad Pitt. But when he was like on the field playing for the Twins, I was like, that's, yeah. Anyways.
What if that's that guy's career from now on? He just plays flashback Brad Pitt.
Well, I looked him up because I was like, how is this guy? I think his name was like Reed Thompson. Yeah. Has he done anything else? No, but oh my God, he looks just like Brad. Anyways, sorry. I'll put a picture of it in the thing. But anyways, I loved this.
It's a very well done sports movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's at least as good as MVP Most Valuable Primate.
Yeah, I mean, that's a stretch, but I think MVP's got this one beat.
Yeah, well, in MVP, at least they won the championship at the end.
Yeah. I think there's something in not just sports movies, but in like anything, any movie that really like centers around, and this doesn't like entirely center around money. They just call it. I thought it would be more about money than it was. But movies that like kind of center around like success and money and stuff, like this one is kind of like addressing how people place value on themselves in a system where like so much of success is defined by numbers and statistics. And I just thought what it was doing near the end with Billy, and like because he's so set on like what is like a winner and loser and what it means to win and lose, and like I don't know, I think that was a part of the film that I really appreciated, especially that one moment. I don't know how to like fully, it's not like that, it was just a kind of half-assed metaphor, but the moment with the guy who slid into first base when he actually hit a home run, that whole situation, I really liked that moment, even though it was like kind of cheesy. I think this movie let it slide.
Because he slid into first base. You're just using only baseball.
Yeah. It's a total. I would like to address that in my Playmobil video, I said something like, I have a Lego tattoo, give me a break. And I have a lot of comments that said I should
give me a brick.
Give me a brick, yeah.
You should not have said that.
All right, cool. Then that makes me feel better. Well, yeah, do you have anything else to say about this movie? Because I feel like I don't want to hold you back from all the baseball.
Oh, no, yeah, definitely hold me back from all the the problem is that it's too many thoughts where I need like a specific question to structure it in a way that's not just insane sounding. Because I sound like some guy trying to convince you of it. I sound like a soapbox preacher baseball guy. We're like, trust me, the knuckleball's gonna come back. It's gonna be big.
You're the Billy Bean of the knuckleball. You're just
I'm the Billy Bean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you're out of your mind if you think that's coming back.
Or I become Billy Bean, because bean is another term for hitting a batter with the ball, like as the pitcher. So it's beanball. So that's my new thing, is that I'm like, trust me, guys. If you hit every pitcher or every batter in the head, they can't field a team anymore, and you automatically win because they forfeit.
Yeah. Well, that does it for baseball talk.
Well, I actually do have one more baseball strategy that I think can win a game.
Okay.
I've come up with a lot.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of these baseball, strategies where the Rays do this thing now where they, instead of starting a starting pitcher where the pitcher will play for generally like 6 or 7 innings, they start a reliever and then have him pitch for like a few innings and then anyways, no one cares about that. I'm going to skip that.
You lost me.
My tactic is what I like to call the intentional catcher interference. So, you know how there's the catcher behind home plate?
Yeah.
And he catches the ball the pitcher throws. The catcher has to stand far enough back to where he doesn't interrupt the batter's swing. So when the batter swings and hits him. When I was in Little League once, I hit the catcher's hand when I was trying to swing. And I was like, oh, what the hell? And then you get to go to first base because that's his fault.
Wow.
But there's nobody trying to do this on purpose.
No.
So and no catchers are expecting it. So if you stand all the way in the back, say that the bases are loaded, bottom of the 9th inning, it's a tie game. All you need to do is get on base and you win the game. Imagine this. You stand all the way in the back of the batter's box, the guy throws it, you intentionally hit the catcher, you win the game.
You won the game, yeah.
Now, that is probably the least sporting thing in the world.
But
you win the game.
You win the game, yeah.
And I think that that's going to happen sometime. Now, I'm not sure if it's illegal to try to hit the catcher or not, but you can make it look like you're not trying.
Wow. And the thing is, you're pretty safe here if this ever happens and someone gets in trouble, because they're not going to come looking for a film podcast where this idea originated. So,
and to be clear, I mean hit them in the hand.
Yeah.
You don't need to hit them in the head.
I was going to say the head, that would be...
No, don't do that.
Not
They're wearing
worth
a
it.
mask, obviously, and a helmet, but that's overkill.
Yeah.
Just hit him in the hand. That's what I did. I got to first base. I think it's a good strategy.
Man. Did I ever tell you the story of when I got hit with a baseball when I tried to be the catcher briefly?
No.
It was 6th grade. I did baseball very briefly, and it was practice, and it was the end of practice, and they were like, does anyone want to try just catching, be the catcher for once? And I was like, I'll do it. And it was just silent, and everyone was like standing around like watching me, and like I put on the mask. And apparently I didn't put it on properly, which is an essential part of this. And I just sat there and waited, and then the pitcher threw the ball, and it just smacked me across the head, and everyone was like, ooh. And yeah, I wasn't the best at baseball.
Yeah.
I had like little the lines like on my chin for a while because like the baseball like ingrained it into my
How did you put the mask on if you weren't?
I don't
covering
know,
your face?
because the whole thing is like a big thing. Maybe I just straight up didn't have the mask on.
Okay, so that would be a problem because was
Yeah.
there someone trying to hit as well? Was there a batter?
No, they were just like testing it out.
Okay,
So, like, me in
okay.
the
Because I was about to say,
stands.
if there was a batter, that would be the least safe thing ever. Because
Yeah.
part of the
I'm right
issue is that if they
here.
foul tip it, you can't like react to that, and it'll just hit you right in the face.
Yeah, that's like a
So at least what you
immediate
were doing was
concussion.
only very dangerous instead of incredibly dangerous.
I also was just like I crouched down and I put it like right here. Like I feel like I should have at least exposed or covered my face a little. I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't do well on the baseball team.
Yeah.
But
I was really good as a little leaguer.
yeah, I
I
can
was
see
selected
you as
for the
a
All-Star team as a second baseman. I didn't play for the All-Star team because my parents didn't want to have to stick around all summer because they wanted to go on vacation.
That's well, actually
And
that
my
kind of
baseball
it's a
career
shitty.
ended.
I'm sorry. I see
No,
you
I
as a
mean,
pretty good baseball player.
I was all right. I was really fast. That was the thing. I pretty much, because in Little League the bases instead of being 90 feet are only 60 feet.
Yeah.
And I was more than 2/3 as fast as a fast adult as a 10-year-old. You know what I mean? I could run as fast as like probably a slightly slow adult. So stealing was the easiest thing ever. I just stole like second base all the time. It was the dumbest thing ever. Like, I don't think I ever got caught stealing.
Wow. Cool. Well, what are we feeling for a score for this movie?
Yeah,
I just checked the time, and we've been talking for a minute about.
Yeah, you might have to cut out some of my.
Oh, it'll be fine.
Baseball.
We have timestamps.
People are gonna hate this.
No, it'll be.
I told you this would happen. I'm like, yeah. So if I start talking about baseball, there's gonna be like 5 people total that are interested.
This is already longer than our last podcast episode. I'd just like to throw that out there.
Yeah.
But what are you feeling for a score?
I think 4.5.
4.5. Wow, nice. I'm tossing it a 4, but pretty close to a 4.5. I liked this so much more than I thought I would. I cannot believe.
Oh, it's a great movie.
How good it is. And it's got a great score too.
The score is so good.
The score is amazing. Like, it reminded me of The Social Network in a lot of ways. So yeah, loved it. Cool. Well, and time of day rating. I'm thinking like this is a solid. I would say it's 7 p.m.
So I'm gonna give it a double header in baseball. That's when you play 2 games in a day. Generally, after one game was like rained out or something.
Yeah.
So I think it's like just a full day experience.
Wow.
Because this movie is quite long.
Yeah, it is pretty long. Cool. Well, that does it for Moneyball. It's on Hulu with a Starz subscription, and it's on Prime with a Starz subscription.
Yeah, if you want to hear me talk more about baseball, just start. If you listen to a baseball podcast, just say, "Hey, get this guy on."
Yeah. Get the movie guy on, Jeff.
And then he's gonna start talking about all the intentional catcher's interference. See, no one, as far as I can tell, has ever proposed this strategy before.
No, I haven't heard, and it's a pretty great strategy.
And also, not very many people are talking about the knuckleball strategy as well, where you have like 2 knuckleballs on staff, because right now there's, I think, 0 knuckleballers in the entire major leagues. Mm-hmm. And I think you have to keep 2 on just to keep people honest. They're not going to hit these knuckleballs after facing some high heat.
Yeah. Cool. Well, sure. Definitely exhausted the baseball thing. Well, we have some questions today that are pretty fun.
Question 1, why doesn't Jeff shut up about baseball?
Question 1, could you guys go into some cool baseball strategies? It's from user
Donut Boy.
That's me. Yeah. This first one comes from Melon Boy. Basically Donut Boy. Just a different food. And it is crunchy or creamy peanut butter.
Creamy.
Yep, creamy. Cool. Glad we're on that. I don't see why anyone would like crunchy.
I'm not against something crunchy in a peanut butter based sandwich, but I don't think it should be the peanut butter that is crunchy.
No. It just it's weird. It feels unfinished. It feels like shit is in
It does feel like unfinished.
Yeah.
That's a great way of putting it.
Because peanut butter, my appeal of peanut butter is that it's like a butter. I don't know.
If it's crunchy, like the texture, my brain doesn't like it.
Yeah.
It just feels like it hasn't been ground up enough yet.
Exactly.
Like someone put this back in the butter machine.
It's not finished.
Grind it up.
Needs to grow up. Grow up and get creamy, That's my
that is, I don't like that. Don't ever say that again.
No one ever says that. Mama used to tell me.
Grow up and get creamy.
Grow up and get creamy.
Imagine saying that to like a bully or something.
Hey, grow up and get creamy, Oh, all right. This next one comes from Lily Pad Marshmallow. A lot of food talk in the questions.
I think
today.
that one's a How I Met Your Mother reference.
Oh, okay. This one goes, who would you want potentially on the podcast? Like, who is your dream guest, Jeff?
Who's my dream guest?
Yeah.
Okay, so I have, I think, 2 answers. Okay. One is for podcast growth, just purely from a financial standpoint. I think if we get BTS on...
No one expected that answer.
Yeah. But no, just think about that, right?
A genius business move, yeah.
Right. We would have, like, it's like we go from, like, a few thousand people listening, and then it's like 5 million. Okay, yeah. We get some sponsors.
Yeah.
Squarespace.
Squarespace. Just for
Stamps.com.
BTS.
Stamps.com will be sending us so much mail, trying to get us to...
Should have just ended
I don't know. There's
there.
some stamps, Joe.
Stamps is going to send us so much mail.
They're going to send us so many stamps. So then we can mail out stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's
so
option
BTS
one.
is definitely in our list.
I think that one that would be just hilarious and that it would just be a train wreck would be Liam Gallagher.
Yeah.
It would really boost our England profile.
That would be
sure.
an awful podcast, I bet.
Yeah. There's too many good answers for this question. It's a great question.
Yeah, now that I think about it, that'd be...
Yeah. I mean, if we were going to go for, like, what would be a really interesting discussion, I think, like, you know, Wes Anderson would probably be, like, most stereotypical one we could get.
Right. We'd both geek out pretty hard about that, I feel like.
Or Owen Wilson.
Owen Wilson. I was going to say Vince Vaughn, but not Vince Vaughn, because he's got some weird politics.
Yeah, he's a... yeah.
Did I tell you I saw Vince Vaughn?
No.
When I was coming out of... Okay, so this is a really funny story. I was coming out of Sonic the Hedgehog, not the restaurant. And
yeah, I thought you meant the restaurant.
No, it was
that was good clarification.
In LA, and I was coming out, and I got recognized by these 2 fans. And they were like, "Oh my God, Carson!" I was like, "Hey," and this is actually my last fan interaction, I think, before all this went down. And it was cool. We were talking, and then they were like, "Oh my God, I can't believe it's you!" And then we both looked over, and it was Vince Vaughn, and all 3 of us were like, "Is that Vince Vaughn?" And we were all 3 like starstruck. And they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna go get a picture." And I was like, "I don't need a picture with Vince, but have fun." And it was just, it was a funny.
And it was Vince Vaughn.
It was confirmed Vince Vaughn. I do have a picture of it in my phone. I can put it up.
You have a picture of them getting the picture?
No, I have a picture of Vince Vaughn just casually, like, he was just sitting on this, like, not sitting, he was, like, kneeling up against this thing, like, one leg up on this bench. He looked like, super casual, which is, like, I guess he's a person, but I didn't expect Vince Vaughn to be so...
Vince Vaughn's not allowed to be casual.
No, he's got to be on it at all times.
Like, hey, Vince, don't you have some weddings to crash?
I should have said that to him. Just
that's like...
you have some weddings to crash?
That's like the time I yelled at John Travolta that I loved him in Wild Hogs.
That's what I was thinking. Oh, should have gone up to Vince Vaughn and been like, "Grow up and get creamy," you know? I love how I've unintentionally thrown "you know" at the end of every time I've said that. Anyways, that's so not Vince Vaughn. I don't know who else. I've said this in a few different live streams, but David Lynch would be really funny on the podcast, I feel like, because he's like he doesn't like talking about movies that much. From the interviews I've seen, he just likes talking about whatever, which is what this podcast is.
Neither do we.
Yeah, we could just talk about meals. Yeah,
that would be fun though. Like some famous movie person, but it's an all question episode. That's literally like what I like want to have, like a podcast. Yeah. That's what this is. But I'd love to get the chance to interview someone very like prestigious, but we just talk about like not Sean Baker, who is a possibility still. Who else? I don't know. Yeah, I guess that does it. Bill Murray would be really fun. I feel like Bill Murray would get the vibe. Anyways, what was the... Okay, this next one also comes from Lily Pad Marshmallow, and it is favorite class you took in college. Okay. Mine isn't a very... Well, let me
because I have my go-to that I always say that was like a super good class, but it's not very exciting. So I'm trying to think of a more. Yeah, fuck it. I had this class called like editing styles and techniques, that like introduced me to a lot of like experimental film, and like just a great class overall. I really loved it. But,
that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm guessing that for this question you aren't counting like study abroads.
Oh man, yeah. I guess. Yeah, probably not.
That's probably an unfair.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that I always liked the film school classes where it was just make a ton of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Production.
Those were fun.
Yeah,
like production type classes.
Yeah.
But if I'm going like my undergrad, when I have a degree in anthropology. Mm-hmm. I took a class that was the archaeology of Caribbean piracy.
Oh, that's
so it's just like a class about pirates, which is kind of fun.
That's pretty fun, yeah. Well, that's cool.
That's what the kind of archaeology classes you get in Florida.
Yeah. Man. Well, we have one more, and it's a short one. From Golden Trigger 42. It is.
Wait, the question's short, or like the answers are going to be short?
It's a short question.
The question's just like
why?
Yes.
Yeah. It's just like why, how. I mean, we could go on forever about that, but they ask, where
question.
is meme of the month?
Okay, that is a good question.
Yeah, it's a good question.
And here's I think what we're gonna do. I think you're gonna be gone for the weekend.
Yep, till Monday. Yeah.
Which is when this comes out. So you're gonna be back when this comes out.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that week, so the week after this comes out, we're gonna record one.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. Yeah, we'll do it. And Jeff is gonna edit it.
I'm gonna edit it,
and then we're gonna get some hats out.
We're gonna get some. Yeah, we're gonna have the hats on sale. You're making a website.
I am making the website, and the website looks so good. The model shots we took are so funny. I realized I didn't get any in them, but hey, it's okay.
I'm gonna come out with the pricing model. I'm gonna do some research this weekend.
I was gonna
make sure that we can sell them in a way where it's like not hemorrhaging money by having to ship it to Australia, and that being the entire cost.
That is true. I forgot we have a lot of overseas fans.
So that's the thing. We're gonna have to figure that out. But I think that we're gonna have about 35 hats as our in stock.
And I said this on the live stream, and we're not just saying this to really push sales, but that's not a lot of hats. So if you want one, we suggest getting on it.
We're also going to try to make it as cheap as possible. Mm-hmm. We're not trying to like really make money, because I think where we're at is we want to probably slightly make money, because we each I think we ordered 50 hats, just to be very transparent on this. Mm-hmm. We each took 7 just to like have and give to like family and friends.
Yep.
And then from the 35, we probably, want to break even or make a tiny bit of money on like the overall price.
Yep. So that's the scoop.
Yeah, we're not going to we're not selling you these hats for like $50 or anything.
No.
It's going to be in the normal small batch hat price range.
Yeah. Not selling them for $50, but they'll be worth way more somewhere in the future.
And Karsten will autograph all the hats. No, he's not going to do that. That would, I feel like, I don't know if that would enhance or decrease the price.
Yeah, I thought about that. I have this I did this giveaway for this Paddington 2 Blu-ray, but it got messed up in the mail, so they sent it back, and I had to it was a whole mess. But long story short, I had to get it back. So now I just have my own copy of Paddington 2 signed by myself. Which is just, it just looks like I just wrote.
I think though that when you sign something, it at the very least it probably breaks even, right? Like I don't think that you writing on something decreases the value. I think if I wrote it like on something, it would definitely decrease the value by a lot.
Especially if you just wrote Jeff, nothing else.
Not even my last name.
Yeah, just Jeff.
It's not even in cursive. It's just
just
Jeff.
So yeah, meme of the month is coming soon, and the hats are coming soon. They won't be signed.
And Ian, I promise that I, for a long time, will not have an episode where I just relentlessly throw sports terminology and stuff that no one cares about out.
Hey, I bet people learned a thing or two this episode.
Probably not even, because I wasn't even structured enough for someone to learn something. My brain was just like this and this and this and this.
Yeah. All right.
Knuckleballs.
Well, let's get into the wrap up, shall we? We like to read a review to encourage you guys to leave reviews, because we like to know what you think. This comes from let's see. Okay, this one's weird. This one comes from Percy Jackson, from the United States of America, 5 stars. Subject line was "Give me a weird dream," not in that way, and yeah. I was like, is Jeff still here? It reads, "Love this podcast. I tried falling asleep to it the other night, as other listeners do, but it gave me some weird dreams. I had a dream that Karsten, Jeff, and I went to a tattoo parlor, and that Karsten gave me a really bad tattoo of guitars on my knees. Other than the trauma of having that dream, I really enjoy this podcast, and the chemistry between Jeff and Karsten is very natural, and conversations flow nicely. I will continue listening to this pod every Monday, but during the day, LOL. Thanks, guys. Addison." Cool. Well, that confused me, because it says from Percy Jackson, but maybe that's just a different. I don't know. Yeah, but Addison.
Well, Percy Jackson is like that character in that book series.
Yeah, the Percy Jackson and the something. But okay, so it says Percy Jackson Obsessed, so that's the username. Addison's the person.
There you go.
We all got it.
Thank you, Addison.
Thank you, Addison.
Now, what if that's how tattoo parlors worked? You could just go in and use their equipment to give someone else a tattoo.
Of guitars. That'd be very difficult.
Yeah. Well, that's probably why it turned out so badly.
Yeah. Did they...
Especially on your knee. Why would you... That would be the hardest place to give someone a tattoo.
Yeah.
Because, like, would you do it when their knee was bent?
Right.
I feel like you couldn't, because your knee's not going to be bent most of the time. So imagine if you gave a tattoo when their knee was bent, and then, like, they're like, okay, done. And then they straighten their leg out, and it was just all, like, clumped up.
That's a worse place to get a tattoo.
Also, it seems like that'd be very painful.
Yeah. I was just looking at my own tattoo. Sometimes you forget it's there. Next, we'd like to announce the next movie for next week. Next week, we are going to talk about Looper. The Ryan...
Bruce Willis is in it?
Yeah, I've never seen it. I actually don't...
I haven't seen it either.
Really? It's the...
Yeah, I threw out just, like, a few random movies that I, like, hadn't seen but had kind of wanted to. Or I'd already seen, like, Moneyball and just was going to watch again anyways.
Yeah. It's directed by Ryan Johnson. I'm sure you guys know what it is. It stars Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and it's available, I think... Oh, it's available on Prime. So, if you have a Prime subscription... Check it out. And lastly, we'd like to thank our patrons. If you would like to become a patron, go to patreon.com/Karstcast, where you can get exclusive access to bonus episodes, Q&As, shout-outs at the end of every episode, Zoom hangouts, and much, much more.
Yeah, and this month, it's September now, so we're going to do a Zoom hangout sometime this month.
Yes.
It will be announced at some other point.
Pretty soon, yeah. So, here's that shout-out. Thank you, Allison Grace, Annabelle Falk, Atticus Merwin, Bex, Blake Root, Boat, Brandon Yu, Brock Schultz, Camilla, Drew Jackson, Eden, Grant Gow. Guys, I hate to say it, but I think Jeff might be onto us. Hi, I'm new here. Holly Edwards, Iron Tusk 93, Isabel, Iva, Jacob Colness, John Van Hout, Joshua Kuzwicki, Josie Eiler, Katie T, Lickwe, Liv Rob, Lucian Vicina, Louis Buss, Molly Overbow, Martin Deff, Marilee Borslow, Meemaw, Moses Ox, Pablo Patel, Parks, Ready Steady Ernie, Robert Burke, Sam Farr, Sophia Arieta, Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, Smitty Werbin, Jagerman Jensen, Taylor Hardy, 10 Billion, Toad Pimp, Vegard Strom, Vera S. Yolki Sasquatch, and Yusef A. I killed that one today.
That was really good. In the beginning, there was like a great flow to it. Yeah. You could have just laid a track behind that, and it would have worked.
It was a rap. Yeah. Well, it's like so many new members have joined, which thank you guys so much.
Yeah, and I promise that the other episodes, again, won't feature as much baseball. So I feel like there's at least going to be like one or two of these people are like, I regret this Patreon purchase.
For as much as you've talked about baseball, you've also apologized for talking about baseball.
which I think is how it should be.
Yeah, because we hate sports here in the film
we hate
community.
them, even though I like them.
Yeah, hate baseball, but love talking about it. Cool. Well, thank you so much, guys. I think that's it for today.
I think it is.
We definitely, someone wanted us to go over an hour again because we really last one was pretty short, and we definitely did that.
How long was the last one?
It came out to be like 30 something minutes. Like,
really? Did we end up using the footage of us playing Frisbee?
Yep.
Oh, nice.
Plugged it in. It's really funny footage. It was It's
probably the one time I like dropped it, right?
Yep, that's the one. Yeah. Well, we have a lot of footage, so that's only. Well, the thing is, I had to slow down part of it to make it go over the gap, and that clip was one of them. So it's just you dropping it in slow motion, and then Jaxie pans, and you're just standing there. People have seen it. Yeah. So Jeff, do you have anything else to say?
I'm about to say catch you on the flip side, but apparently not if it's a Frisbee.
Catch you on the flip side.
Flip side.